Arg, I'm a space pirate. Welcome back, everyone. It's Garlaanx here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And today, as the title suggests, we're going to be taking a look at Module 27. Which, yeah, we're in space. So it's basically Spelljammer. I know Nova has been looking forward to this for a very long time, of this story arc. But yeah, it's basically Spelljammer, I guess. I don't follow the lore. Nova has always been the big lore guy, but yeah, we're in space, folks. Module 27. So, as always, we are on the preview server. Everything is subject to change. However, you know, we're pretty close to release, so I doubt very much is going to change at this point. So we're looking at the Light of Xaryxis, I guess is how you pronounce it. I don't know. Item level 65,000. We're moving right along these days. So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, another 10-week long campaign. I'm sure there'll be a campaign booster to skip the first 2 weeks. So if you buy that, essentially it's an 8-week campaign. So if we take a look at just the campaign rewards alone, you're going to get a new vanity pet, Yippee Skippy. You're going to be able to get 100,000 AD. Then we have a new artifact, which is the Astral Seed Tendril. You're going to get 50 mount tokens, a reagent, I'm assuming, to upgrade the artifact, 500 trade bars, and then another reagent, which I'm assuming to upgrade the artifact. So I'm glad to see that these rewards have increased from past campaigns. I mean, 50 mount tokens, in my opinion, is still a little low. But they did bump up the trade bars. 500 trade bars is pretty significant for a campaign task, so I like to see that. But yeah, the 50 mount tokens should be increased a little bit. Like 100 mount tokens is not out of the question, in my opinion. So that is the campaign. Again, another 10-week campaign. And then let's just go ahead and jump into it, folks. So there is going to be a new trial, of course. If anyone wasn't sick of doing trials yet, I've skipped the past several. But there is going to be a new trial, which means new weapons. So we have the legendary one, Solarium Packblade here. I play Necro, obviously. And then the mythic version of the Solarium Packblade +1. Again, I'm assuming these are going to drop from the trial. So deal or heal up to 5.5% additional damage based on the difference in hit point percent between the player and the target. You are granted the following depending on your role. So DPS is 3% total damage, tank is incoming, negative incoming damage, and healer is 6% total healing. This effect does not stack, which I'm assuming the roles, not the top and the middle. And then when in wild space, the above bonuses are doubled and your movement speed is increased by 10%. So I don't know if all of those are going to be doubled, like the top and the bottom. So if you're in wild space, that would be an extra 11% damage from the top affix, and then 6% total damage on the bottom, which means you would be getting 17% total outgoing DPS, depending on the health of the mob, obviously. That would kick in at 50% when the mob is 50%. I don't know. I'm assuming they're only talking about the second affix being doubled. So I don't think the top one is going to be doubled. It's just going to be 6% total damage. I don't know. 2,700 item level on this weapon, by the way. We are cruising right along in these jumps in item level. The new item level max is going to be well over 100,000. So those are the weapons. So we have the Pulsar Armor. I'm not going to read all these guys. You can pause the video if you like. We have the chest plate here, the arms, and then the boots. And then we have the variants of those. And then we have the mythic versions of these. Again, I'm assuming, yeah, these are going to come from the Master Trowel. So the Pulsar armor is going to come from the Advanced Trowel. So Advanced Trowel and then Master Trowel for mythic. So again, I'm just going to hover over these. And then we have the Lothian gear, which is going to be available for sills. It looks like there's going to be a new sill, a sill of the Spider God. So we have a helmet here. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. If we go back to the legendary armor, is going to be 2600 item level on the legendary. The mythic armor is 27 item level. That matches the weapon. And then the Lothian gear is going to be the old item level of 2050. So we have the helmet here. This is all going to be obtainable by sills. The armor, arms, and the boots. And then the second versions of those. And then moving right along, we have the Astral Raiders armor, which is going to be found on bosses and in special chests during the whatever that is, invasion. So invasions is going to be the new mechanic here in Module 27. And then it also says you may also be purchased from a special vendor. So these are 2200 item levels. So the Astral Raider gear actually has a higher item level than the Sill vendor stuff. So these are 2200. And here is the helmet, the chest, the arms, the boots, and then their counterparts here. And I want to pause on this here because I want to look at this effect here. It says grants up to a 20% bonus damage when your total item level is being scaled down. So that's interesting. That's the first time we're actually seeing gear that's being affected by your item level, essentially. So just looking at this right off the bat, this is essentially best in slot for all content in the game other than the newest trowel or any trowels that you're not being scaled down in. The whole game is scaled down, so this should be a 20% bonus to damage as long as you're doing all old content and you're not running any of the latest new content. So if you're just running your daily, dungeons, your advanced dungeons and all that stuff, these gloves are insane. Like, we haven't had a glove slot item that has been good in a very long time. So yeah, these are actually pretty insane if I'm understanding this correctly. Like I said, grants up to a 20% bonus damage when your total item level is being scaled down, and then it's even going to tell you how much damage you're going to be getting from these. And then the boots as a counterpart is damage resistance. So that's pretty interesting. I'm actually a little excited about that item because 90% of the game is you're being scaled down unless you're doing the latest content. Then you're just going to use something else in the arm slot. But yeah, especially for alternate characters and everything, you're definitely going to want to grab these. Like I said, when you're just farming your Astral Diamonds for the day, doing your dailies and everything, yeah, that's pretty nasty. That's tasty. That's a tasty little item. All right, 2 new artifact sets. This one, the Astral Seed Tendril, again, is coming from the campaign. And then we have the Portable Spelljammer Detector, which I'm assuming is going to drop from the Advanced / Master Trial. We'll look at both mythics here in a second. And then, of course, we have the belts and necklaces. So the belt necklace appears to be 2500 item level on the mythic, and the legendary set is 2250. We also have new clothing here. When your stamina is over 75%, your power is increased by 7500. I'm assuming that's the same across the board. Okay, I guess not. When your stamina is under 15%, your movement speed is increased by 20. Yeah, power by 7500. Power by 7500. 7500 power. And then another one by the movement speeds. And then we have the pants to that. When your stamina is over 75%, your power is increased by 3%. Okay, so not only are you going to be getting 7,500 statistical power, but if you wear the pants, you're going to get 3% power as well. And the item level on these are 1,700. Whenever you are healed in combat, you have a 10% chance to gain 2% recharge speed, and it has a 30-second internal cooldown. That's horrible. And then we have the legendary versions, which are 1,800 item level. Whenever you critically strike, you have a 10% chance to reduce your maximum hit points by 20%, and gain 3% damage for 10 seconds. So we've seen this effect on numerous pieces of gear in the past. Now they've actually put it on a shirt slot item. So it's interesting. Is it really worth sacrificing 20% hit points to only gain 3% damage? Most likely not. And then we have Graceful Harmony. You gain 1.5 outgoing healing for each player in your team. When your teammates are 20 feet or closer to you, their forte is increased by 1.5%. And then that's just the same across the board in different versions. And then we have the pants. When your stamina is over 75, your combat advantage is 7,500. When you damage or heal your target for more than 15% of your max HP in a single blow, you gain 10 action points. Yay. Alright. New rings, of course. We have blue ones. Blue ones are bought from the campaign store. I'm not going to go through the blue or the epics. Well, we might look at the epics, but the blue ones are 2,000 item level. Epic ones are coming in at 2,200. I'll just hover over the epic ones if you guys want to see it. More epic ones for some reason. These are 2,200 and these are 2,400. I'm guessing these ones drop somewhere and then these ones probably drop out of the trial. They're 2,400. So these are probably like coming from the advanced trial when you get to this stage here. And then I'm assuming the new legendary, they're not even mythic, but the new legendary are probably coming from the master version of the trial, and there is 5 of them. 2,500 item level on the legendary rings. Alright, moving right along. Yep, it's about that time again. Time to update companion equipment. So there is going to be new companion equipment. I believe all of these come from the campaign store, so you can farm them with campaign currency. And then, of course, there is an Astral Diamond price tag on them. If we go over them, they have split stats. This one in particular is for, obviously, tanks. It actually has 3 statistics on it. Defense, awareness, and forte. And then this one is for DPS. It has combat advantage, critical strike, and forte. And then we go into the single statted ones of 2700 defense. This is 1800 item level companion gear. Then we have the dual statted ones. So critical strike, outgoing healing, single stat of awareness, dual stat defense awareness, single stat of 2700 accuracy, dual stat combat advantage crit severity, outgoing healing single stat, crit avoidance deflection, critical strike, accuracy control bonus, combat advantage, and then combat advantage and deflection. So it all depends on how you build your character, how you're managing your own statistics, as always, on what companion pieces you're going to slot in, whatever you need. Finally, coming down to the nitty gritty, we have some stupid vanity pets that no one cares about. And then we do have a new fashion set, which is hilarious. It's a new jester set. They're calling it the Space Clown Cap and Bells. So, yeah, it's a new jester set, but it's just a funny jester set. Let's go ahead and look at those mythic artifacts real quick, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this video up. Whoopsie. Alright, so we have the Astral Seed Tendril. This one is going to be the one coming from the campaign. Deals 94,000 arcane damage to nearby enemies, healing you for 88,000 for each target hit. Deals an additional 126,000 over 12 seconds, healing you for 117,000 for each target affected. In Wild Space, the bonuses are currently doubled. I'm in Wild Space, so that's probably why these damage meters are so high, because I'm actually in Wild Space right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it doesn't have any debuff on it, so let's look at the 3-piece set here. Astral Absorption. While taking damage, you will begin to subtly drain the energy of your attackers. If you are reduced below 75% health, this stored energy will explode forth, damaging all nearby enemies for 24k, essentially, arcane damage, and shielding you from 103 damage for 4 seconds. If reduced below 25% health, additional energy will burst forth, dealing additional damage to all nearby enemies, as well as stunning them for 2 seconds. Additionally, the second burst will heal nearby party members for, 100,000 health. Each of these effects may only occur once every 30 seconds. I don't know. I mean, there's no debuff on the artifact. I don't see very many people running this as a 3-piece set. There's just other 3-piece sets that are far superior to this set. So, I mean, it's a cool, interesting 3-piece set and artifact itself. I just don't see very many people using it and running it. The second one is the Portable Spelljammer Detector. Disrupts the flow of spelljamming magic in a 25 feet radius around your target, dealing 100,000 arcane damage and increasing damage taken by 12% for 10 seconds. So this artifact does have a debuff, so people will use this in their repertoire of trials. There are so many debuffing artifacts out there now. When you have a 10-man trial, all 10 of those players should have a separate artifact to just stack that damage reduction. Additionally, this effect grants the user 7.5 critical severity for 10 seconds. So we don't care about the crit severity, but it is a debuffing artifact, 12% debuff, 10 seconds. In Wild Space, damage and stat buff currently doubled and resistance debuff effect by 2%. So it's actually 14% damage reduction if you're in Wild Space. So let's look at the 3-piece set of this. Unstable Scan increases the duration of the Portable Spelljammer Detector resistance debuff by 2 seconds. So if you're using the 3-piece set of this, then you're going to gain another 2 seconds. So it's 12 seconds total of either a 12% debuff or a 14% debuff, depending on what content you're doing. Using encounter powers grants 1% combat advantage, forte, and healing for 10 seconds, and it stacks 7 times. So again, those secondary stats we don't really care about. We only care about artifacts for the debuff. In that limited time, you're not building your character around getting an extra 7% combat advantage because you're not going to have 100% uptime on that. So it's a decent debuffing artifact to add to the repertoire. Again, 1500 item level. This one, unfortunately, is power, accuracy, deflection, so no DPS is going to use this, just for solely because we have other 1500 item level artifacts that have pure raw DPS statistics on it. This one is power, accuracy, deflection. Again, are they both the same? They're literally both power, accuracy, and deflection. Yeah, so I don't see anyone using these in their repertoire other than the Spelljammer. Someone's going to use it just for the debuff value alone. I think I covered everything. I did see a little. Yeah, what is this over here? This is a sneaky little one under the special artifact. So this is probably going to be a Zen Market exclusive. It's going to be in one of the Mod 27 packs that you can buy from the Zen store, just like all these other ones were. We had the Crystal of Soul's Flight that came from the lockbox. The Rod of Pain was an exclusive in the Zen Market. The Spore Staff was a Zen Market exclusive. These are all pretty much Zen Market exclusive. So it's safe to say that this one in particular is going to be coming from something revolving around the Zen Market, revolving around Mod 27 launch. So this does look like a DPS artifact, obviously. It's accuracy, combat advantage. And let's go ahead and take a look at her. 33,000 damage to enemies in the targeted area. Has a stun effect. 4 seconds. Have diverse players. Do people still PvP in this game? I mean, is that still a thing? Is PvP still a thing? And everyone comment below and tell me. Don't really do that. I know it's a joke. Added effect. 5% increased damage taken. What? What? How? That is so poorly worded. That's unbelievable. Added effect. 5% increased damage taken. So, I mean, it's a debuff. The debuff does not stack with other artillery artifacts. So this is unfortunately not good. It's not going to be used. The 5% debuff doesn't compare to the 10%, 15% debuffs that we currently have in the game on artifacts. So no one's really going to use this unless you just need the statistics from it being a 1500 item level artifact and its accuracy, combat advantage. So if you're going to use it just in one of your extra artifact slots, then I can see that happening. But yeah, no one's going to realistically use this because we just have so many debuffing artifacts in the game right now that are obviously far superior than this. So there you go, guys. That should wrap it up for Big Bad Wild Space, they're calling it, but it's definitely just Spelljammer. Again, this is preview. I expect a launch of Mod 27 to be around, I don't know, I don't have a calendar open right now. I'm going to say November 7th, November 10th, somewhere in between that period. Actually, let's just look. I think if we go here, when's this thing end? Oh, does it not tell me when it ends? Oh, yeah, November 7th. So the last battle pass that you could buy, it ends on November 7th. So expect a Mod 27 release time around November 7th. So there it is, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below. Again, this is preview server. Everything's subject to change, but we're pretty close to launch. I doubt any of the stuff's going to be changing significantly. So any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below. We're going into space. Space is the final frontier. Yippee skippy. Touch me in the pants. That's all I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you in Mod 27. Everyone, Hell Nova. Spelljammer. Space.